And I'm not sure who the audience was supposed to be for this documentary because most of us are living through it and have lived through it and we remember it, right? Like most of what they talked about, it was like, well, this was yesterday.
How do you have a Black Twitter documentary and you don't mention Ailia Banks?
Ooh, Black Twitter. It was a time. And I mean this documentary, but also the era of Black Twitter. I'm so excited to talk to you about this. You ready?
I'm as ready as I'm ever gonna be. I got some questions. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
Not even some questions. I got more so some complaints.
Complaints?
Yeah, like I wish I literally have complaints to the point that I was looking while I was watching this. I was looking for where to send. You know, they used to send fan mail and stuff.
Yes, the
I
PO
want
box.
to fill out a card and file a formal complaint.
Come on
about this documentary.
Wow. Well, let's get into it because I need to understand why. Because I don't think that I feel the same way as you, per usual.
Yeah, well, let's check out the trailer for the Black Twitter mini docu-series or whatever they want to call it. And we'll be right back with our review.
We sure will.
Black voices.
Black planet.
I spent a lot of time on MySpace. But Twitter was different. Twitter created a space to experience things together.
There's a Hotep Twitter.
Black music Twitter.
There's definitely Twitter after dark.
And
we can kiki all we want, but when you're Black, you can't avoid the realities of this world.
And I might never come down.
It's way bigger than just fun and jokes.
We used it to create change intentionally.
This historical record, you could turn it off like that.
And I might never come down.
The main question at the top of my list.
Okay.
And anybody who was on Twitter and they were Black and it was like between, let's say, 2007 to 2014. I'll give you 15.
Okay.
Maybe 16.
A range.
Yeah. I'm not going to go as far as 2020 because I was done way
too far. Mm-hmm.
But I'll give you to like 16, 17.
Mm-hmm.
But everyone should be asking the same question when it comes to this documentary. And that is, how do you have a Black Twitter documentary and you don't mention Ailia Banks?
Ooh, wait, first of all, that was your first question?
It was my first question.
Wow, okay. Mm-hmm.
That was my first question. How do you not mention Ailia Banks? Because Ailia Banks it was interesting to be on Twitter when Ailia was doing her thing.
It was. Oh, it was a time.
The amount of search engine optimization and the amount of traffic that she probably generated for that app, that website, I'm sure was astronomical. And they omitted her, even though it was like, these alleged feuds and all this, they omitted her whole entire presence on Twitter from this. She was the person to originally get like blocked from Twitter by the higher ups. and after she got blocked, Donald Trump was doing his thing.
Yeah.
So the fact that y'all didn't include Ailia Banks in the Black Twitter documentary lets me know that y'all like sifted through, washed out, edited, cleaned off, and try to polish up everything else. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna stop right there. I think that's a real question.
No, that's real. That's valid. I think it's interesting you brought up Ailia. I didn't think of her, but now listening to you say it, I'm like, you're spot on. I actually was thinking about Chris Brown when they were going through like, kind of tiptoeing along the celebrity stuff, saying, they mentioned Rihanna, of course. But I thought about Chris Brown. I was like, wow, he was extremely instrumental in Twitter at the time, very vocal on there. And it was like post him having the situation with Rihanna, he used Twitter as his outlet. And that was the way that he was talking directly to people and not through PR or whatever. Yeah. And I was like, wow, kind of a missed opportunity. We obviously know why they tiptoed on past that. Same thing with Ailia. So I'm in agreement with you. I feel like there was a lot of stuff, especially with celebrities, that was missed. And it was really all about Rihanna, which of course she, played a big role. But I was like, there was a lot of people who was doing their thing on the Twitter.
Now, I'm not a huge Rihanna follower like that. I remember some stuff on Twitter, but the most thing that everybody remembers is the back and forth with her and Ciara.
Right. Mm-hmm.
That could have been 2 minutes of the documentary. They kind of dragged that a little bit.
They did.
To make it seem like more than what it was, to use Rihanna's fans and stuff as like, clout, because they're going to share that clip or whatever. Y'all don't play with me. Don't play with me. My second question is this.
Yes, let's go.
So, that was my topmost question before.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
My second most question is a close second. And that is, how on earth did y'all squeeze 3 episodes,
baby,
out of this documentary?
Baby. That was also a question on my list, so we can do 2 for 2, because I was also wondering the same thing. How?
There's not enough there on the singular topic. The best times on Twitter was the 140 character days.
I agree. Oh, what a time.
This documentary shouldn't even been 140 minutes.
Okay. Okay.
But I mean, who I think would have executed a well-paced like documentary of this style are the people over at like Vice TV.
I love me a Vice documentary. Oh,
I think that they kind of have a formula and a way that they go about structuring their docs.
Yeah.
That it would have been a different pace.
Yeah.
All of this should have been one feature.
Yes.
Not 3. Not 3. There was not enough there to be talking about 3 things.
And I think because the content is so current, there really wasn't a need to like break it up and kind of do like these cliffhanger things like they did at the end of each episode. We really didn't need that, because it was like, we're living through this. And I'm not sure who the audience was supposed to be for this documentary, because most of us are living through it and have lived through it, and we remember it, right? Like most of what they talked about, it was like, well, this was yesterday. Like this is happening now. So like the weird like cliffhanger, like what's to come. It was like, but girl, we already in it. What?
No. Let's talk about some of the talking heads, okay? What I am starting to notice is that Black Hollywood has always been small on the elite level, right? Everybody knows everybody. The degrees of separation are less than that of the Kevin Bacon game.
Way.
Not even 1. It'd be like a quarter of a degree of a separation. And we also see that in who we appoint to speak on certain subject matters.
Okay.
What's the dude they got fired from TMZ?
Van Lathan.
Van Lathan. I like Van. He's Van. Always speaking on everything.
Yeah.
There was that lady that appeared in the Freaknik documentary that was also in this speaking on stuff. She was the lady that was in the scene where they were at the dinner table.
Okay.
And she had the curly hair. So she was sitting on our right side.
Yes. And are you speaking of the dinner table where they were eating fried chicken and watermelon? Is that the one? Yeah, I thought so.
Who staged who did the spread? First of all, you're not gonna have let me see if I can remember. You knocked out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At least eight at a table with chicken on it, and ain't nobody chewing. Okay?
And watermelon. But why was it also watermelon?
And the watermelon slices. The watermelon slices were placed on top of each other. And it was chicken and waffles.
It was.
That was if y'all was not gonna eat, y'all could have just had a table with flowers on there.
Come on.
I can't. There's no way you had all them at one table. And this sounds like a trope, but you can't put any group of people congregating at a table with fried chicken and nobody's eating. They must have got that chicken from Walmart. But yeah, that particular dinner is what I was talking about. I noticed that too.
I recall.
Trash McBash. I would say this.
Yes.
So there were different topics that they spoke on. The most informative or nostalgic topic, I should say, was when they addressed the era of the Obama era. Right?
Yeah, I agree.
That was at a time where our country seemed like it was on the right track to looking new, and we had optimism, we had hope.
We did.
Obama.
Oh, we did.
And because it wasn't at his campaign, the hope.
Yes.
But anyways, it was just a time to be alive, a moment, and that was the first use of the POTUS account.
Yeah.
In the all those things. So Obama using Twitter to speak to the young people coming out to vote, all these things. It all kind of, was streamlined under that same umbrella. So if you ever want to capture like that, the essence of what was, Black Twitter in its like best time, then you can just section out the Obama presidential era.
And I'm gonna tap in here. I agree with you on that. I like the nostalgia that I felt when those scenes came up. I was like, oh man, like that was the time. And since we've been through so much crap after that, you kind of forget how beautiful that time was. So it was so nice to see that. I really appreciated that they added that. And I also just want to add, and I don't know if you're gonna agree, but Scandal, when they added the scenes in the bit about Scandal and Kerry Washington and all that, like I remember that so specifically, like being a time where we all were watching the same thing at the same time and tweeting and having conversations, and Scandal kind of just being a little show that wasn't huge until we blew it up on Twitter. And I guess I didn't realize until I watched this that like, wow, we did blow Scandal up. And that really was like sitting around watching the show together. I feel like that's one of the last ones, like shows that I've been able to do that with. And I missed that. That was a good time.
Yeah. Live tweeting a show was a huge thing. I'll be honest with you. And this is probably the only time y'all could ever think to pull my card. Okay. I'd never seen Scandal.
I believe that. That's why I said, I don't know if you agree. I actually believe that.
I've never seen Scandal. And even when everyone was tweeting and stuff about it, I think my Twitter-ness had died down quite a bit. Because I was very active on Twitter.
Yes, you were.
For many years. I really was. I was very active on Twitter.
You were.
In a major way. And I don't like the fact that nobody called me and asked me to speak on something. I think they didn't call me because they know I would have brought up Ailia Banks and they wouldn't have had any footage. They would just edited it out anyway. The other person, while we're talking about different topics that they brought up and using hashtags to drive stuff, live tweeting and things like this, where was the because they spoke about everything leading up to the pandemic and stuff like that. Where was the conversation around Leslie Jones live tweeting the Olympics? That was fun because everybody was at home anyway, and it was that weird Olympic. Well, this was even before that, but then when the pandemic Olympics happened and So now she's to the point that now the Olympics are coming up again, and they want her as a correspondent again because of what she was doing.
I love that.
The Olympics.
I love that.
Why was this not mentioned in the documentary? Because that was a whole whatever. Y'all don't like.
Okay, but T, you also said that this was 3 episodes. So had they thrown all that
in three episodes, they could have mentioned it. These was long episodes.
Yes.
It was a long episode, and they had so many random people, and they was throwing up their Twitter handle. Let me stop. Let me give
they
credit.
Were throwing up the Twitter handle. Yeah.
Let me give credit where it's due. Okay.
Yes.
And I want to say that I did like the overall editing style of the docuseries. I did like that. Some of the graphics, the way that they kind of did all those layouts and stuff. I did like how it looked and felt.
I enjoyed that too.
And that it was consistent throughout. I did enjoy the stylistic choices that were made. But back to the bullshit.
Oh no. Okay.
What were the other things they mentioned? They of course mentioned the pandemic era, the presidential campaign, the use of hashtags and how Black people made things their own. What else?
Twitter After Dark. I couldn't believe they mentioned that.
Twitter After Dark. They briefly mentioned Twitter After Dark.
I couldn't believe it. And the tweets they put on the screen, just so y'all know, if you weren't there, those were tame. Those were mild compared to the shenanigans that used to be on my timeline from Twitter After Dark.
Oh yeah. They were definitely in their fair use bag when it came to posting up little clips and stuff, because a lot of the tweets and clips and stuff didn't even align with the actual thing that they were talking about.
Yeah.
So I did notice that, like, y'all were just putting up anything that, this fits, this meme fits.
It's a lot to go through, though. That's a lot to go through to figure that out, though.
But after the first episode, I pretty much tuned out. They talked about some of the darker stuff, the police brutality, killings, and how we got messages around during moments of crisis that had happened, and how Twitter changed the landscape of how we communicate on social media, et cetera, et cetera. All of that to say this, and then I'll let you take it. It was still not enough for 3 episodes. Y'all really, y'all covered a lot of ground. Y'all spoke on a lot of things. It was not 3 episodes worth of anything in this. I'll let you take the floor. Is there anything else that we should be mentioning that I haven't mentioned?
I think for the most part, you covered it all. I mean, it's one of those things, like, again, for me, it's hard to look at this in retrospect, because I'm like, I feel like we're still in it and we're still going through it. So I kind of struggle with that. But I mean, I think you hit most of the points. I'm ready to give my rating.
Go ahead. Let's see.
All right. So you mentioned the talking heads. I appreciated seeing people that I hadn't seen before in a lot of these things, but also some faces that I did know and was used to.
The only person, I'm sorry, not to even, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was surprised they didn't get Mark Lamont Hill, because
he's done everything. My God.
Then maybe they overlapped it with another.
I was just about to say that. Like, he was booked doing another doc. Don't worry. Because
I see some of these Black documentaries. I'll be waiting for them to pop up
every time. No, I thought the same thing. So I appreciated seeing W. Kamau Bell. I really enjoy him. Kid Fury, love me some Kid Fury. Lovey. So many of the other people on there I appreciated seeing, and like the different perspective. I also like that they got people from Twitter that were popular, because it's like, why are we just talking about Twitter and not getting popular people? So I appreciated that aspect of it and shining a little light. And some of these people are unsung heroes. The way they've made us laugh, the way they've made us feel good in times of crisis, in times of stress. You sitting at your job, at your desk, you scroll on Twitter, you're seeing funny tweets. Like, we thank y'all for that. So I appreciate that we were able to shine a light on some of those folks. So I love that aspect of it. Some of the nostalgia you spoke about, the Obamas and Scandal, and having the laughs. Oh, the Thanksgiving tweets. Oh my God, the Thanksgiving ones. Like some of that stuff is just like, it feels good and reminds you of a time. So I liked seeing that. I liked the way it was put together. I like seeing the tweets on the screen. And like you said, the graphics were done very well. I think overall the tone was fine. It wasn't too like
fun,
but wasn't too dark either, because it could have gone dark, because there were some dark things that were happening on Twitter. And as a result of Twitter. So I appreciate they kind of stayed middle road. I'm with you though. The 3 episodes, not sure why we needed 3. I was actually surprised when I pulled up Hulu and I was like, oh, 3?
Never.
Oh, not sure why we needed that. It should have been the same amount of time that Freaknik documentary was. You know what I'm saying? A good hour, 20, hour, 30 minutes, we cool. We get out of here. But overall, I enjoyed it. I'm still struggling with like, are we in Twitter era? Are we out of it? Like what? I'm still struggling a little bit, but overall, I enjoyed the documentary. I think it was fine. I think it was well done. Another thing I struggle with is like, who's the audience? Is it for us? Is it for people younger than us? Is it for people generations younger than us so that we can remind them what Black Twitter was? Is this for white people so they can have a better insight into what Black Twitter is and was and what it meant to us? So I was a little confused there. Like, who are we talking to? Who's the audience? But overall, I enjoyed it. So I am going to go ahead and just give this one a Jennifer Lewis. Am.
Well,
TeaRon.
First things first, the omissions were a bit too much for me. Like I said, I was really active on Twitter for real, like in those early days. And there were many things that I know came across the, well, I don't know if you would say script or what, but I know that there were many things that came up that did not get addressed or spoken on or glossed over or whatever. Like I said, they spent so much time talking about Rihanna, and that was just a blip to me in the grand scheme of things, you know? Like I said, the same old talking heads we see in other things, fine. I think I expected to have as much fun as I remember Black Twitter era to be. I expected for that fun to translate over into this documentary. It did not. It was not fun. It was not a good time. It was not something that made me like really like laugh or feel joy. It just felt informative.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. But like you said, who are you informing? Because if this was just an informative documentary for archival's sake, then this documentary probably should have came out a few years from now.
Yeah.
It's too current. It's too current just for y'all to sit there and be. We remember Insecure. We were. Huh?
Versus. We remember Versus. We was there.
We remember the riots in Ferguson. We remember Trayvon Martin. We remember all of these things. So it was pointless for y'all to make just a informative video for who. I just thought I was going to have more fun with this. And I found myself, like I said, after the first episode, I did finish it. I did finish all 3 reluctantly.
You ain't have to say that.
I just feel like I don't know, if they just really compounded it and made it into one thing, I think the pacing would have had to have been quicker, which would have been a lot more fun, a lot more energetic. We would have gotten everything in like boop, 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 boop. Would have been fine. Y'all dragged it out. Y'all bored me. Y'all don't like dark-skinned Black women because y'all didn't talk about them. And I'm going to have to give this a Stacey Dash. I really am. It just did not hit on any cylinders for me. I think that, there's a YouTuber out there that could have thrown together a Black Twitter documentary in 20 minutes and it would have been way better than this.
You don't want to give it a Kevin Hart?
I do not want to give it more than what I gave it.
Okay.
I don't. I would never watch it again. I won't reference it again. I'm not going to recommend it to anyone. There are no notable moments. There are, because everything, like I said, everything we already know about. Y'all didn't tell me nothing new.
Okay, so let me ask you this. You have young nieces and nephews who are way younger than you. Now, when they come up, will you say, hey, you want to learn about Black Twitter? You can watch this documentary, 3 parts on Hulu. Okay.
They can find a 60-second video on TikTok and learn everything they need to know about Black Twitter.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Y'all played on my time in my top.
3 hours.
3 hours. Y'all really played and y'all, there was no new perspectives. It was just people saying, oh yeah, I was there. Oh yeah, I remember. Oh wow. And then now that you made me think of it, there were points where people were quoting specific tweets and stuff like this that were never viral to begin with. So you knew that the director and stuff, they're doing the documentary. They're telling him, oh, mention this tweet. And so they're like, oh, meet me in Temecula. That was so funny. I don't remember that. I was on Twitter heavy then. I never seen Meet Me in Temecula. Ever.
Me neither.
Ever.
Maybe that was regional. Maybe it was regional.
It had to be. It was just people on the West Coast. Had to be. There was no way. I never heard of the hashtag ever. Ever. Y'all really played. And y'all just told the person who y'all was interviewing to mention a tweet to make it seem like they knew what they was talking about. They didn't know either.
TeaRon, close us out.
I know how documentaries work. I know how you shoot this stuff. I know how you line it up. Don't play with me.
Well,
that being said, if you've been watching it this whole time,
thank you.
If you are watching this on YouTube, you can go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and leave a comment. Let us know, where were you during the epitome, the pinnacle of Black Twitter era? And what did you think about this documentary? Did you get past one episode? Let us know in the comments. You can follow me on Instagram at TeaRon World, on TikTok currently at TeaRon with 2 underscores. Actually, let me not say currently because it's not getting banned everywhere. It's just getting banned in the US. So everybody else, you can follow me on TikTok at TeaRon with 2 underscores on the end. And you can, of course, follow Ubiquitous Blacks all over the socials at Ubiquitous Blacks. And if you have any recommendations, you can reach out to us on socials, or you can leave a comment on this video. Email us, ubiquitousblacks@gmail.com, et cetera, et cetera. Tiera, where can they find you?
Yes, you can find me over on my YouTube channel. It is at Tiera Takes. I am over there doing travel content. So come on by and watch my videos and say hello and chit chat with me. You can also reach me on my website at tieratakes.com, and all my social handles are there. And then, of course, if you don't want to do any of that and you just want to hit up Ubiquitous Blacks, do that as well. And I will get the message. And as TeaRon and I always say, every single time we record, we love to get some recommendations from you guys. So anything that you are watching or have enjoyed or not enjoyed and you think we might enjoy, or you want to hear our, comments on it and see us review it, please send those suggestions our way.
Yes. And don't tweet us.
No.
We don't have a Twitter.
No, not
we don't have an X.
No. Well, EX. Close us out.
Peace out, y'all.
Bye, y'all.